I can smell her from the wall. Like most of them. There's a whore playing interview. There is no interview with a stinky, ugly bitch. There is no interview with stinky, ugly morons. Remember, these things are hilarious too, right? Why would a 30 IQ person think they can interview you? What is an interview? Oh, and she's pulling off her glasses. Remember, if you're white, semi-orange, and European, they'll try to rob you of everything. Who's in the wall with her? Kathy Cox. Kathy Cox is lurking, threatening as well. And she's threatening people's glasses. Her daughter, Emily's probably here. Her ugly daughter, Emily, is here. Stinky Cooch Emily, the ugly fucking slut from Burke Gilman Place Apartments. She's a pathetic welfare bitch that thought she was government like the other retardos. Oh, and another one yammering is Michael Benjamin Davis Wood's ugly retarded mother. And she's absolutely nuts, and she's a gang member, and it's been explained, obviously, where they got their money. Mysterious inheritances are not inheritances in Washington. And another ugly, stinky retard set. Ugly fucking morons that nobody wants to be seen with. Nobody's going to visit any of you, and they'll make kidnapping threats to go to their room. So Roger's also making a kidnapping threat. Roger is ugly and retarded, and nobody would want him. And they're playing police, blah, blah, blah. Fine, I'll call the police. You come near me, uglies, I'm calling the police on the police. I will call the police on Officer Bobby and his retardo son any day, uglies. Remember, they're afraid of the police. Now one of them's chanting about Yankees. Remember how psychotic these fuckers are. And these retards that hid out in people's apartments, they had the dirty, or in the wall or wherever, had the dirty police stating it was voices. Well, it arrives in another area when you have video footage of the door shaking from someone trying to kick it open. Also, when you have people yelling in the hall, when you have people yelling from outside, when you have people acting insanely when you leave the premises, following you, including retards from the building that I've caught on video. And remember, they're hallucinatory. If you can't round them up as a criminal, so you can round up the freak pretending it's my family member. He is hallucinatory. And it might have been Eric Kinzel's family. And he is not untraceable, just like the rest of these bastards. Eric Andre Kinzel, father Robert Kinzel, deceased 1996, related to the Fesslers. I'm going to have a banana. You can just see me eat. It's not nice. I was eating on cam last night, or when I had my... I can show you what I eat. That's not nice. I'll show you what I mean, though. There's a bum yapping. It's Eric Kinzel's son, and he's retarded. It is my theory that Eric Kinzel made his son into a mongoloid. Well, you know, his mongoloid seed didn't help, apparently. But his father was an inebriate. So is Eric Kinzel. And he has made explosive substances. And he also has been around, if not produced, meth lab chemicals and it's a guarantee being in the gang, not me being in the gang, guarantee that they have carried around radiation and other toxic substances and diseases. Remember, they're retarded, so he made his own kids into Mongoloids. And he cannot blame the Gulf War. He is a Mongoloid. So if you hear a gabbling retard on tape, it could be Eric Kinzel's moron son. And yes, I've got a song for it. Eric Kinzel's, now what was the other one? And it's for other people too. Eric Kinzel's moron son, Officer Bobby's moron son. I mean, there are several versions. I'm going to drink my coffee. I'm going to have some spoonfuls of peanut butter. Why? Well, it's protein. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done as earth is in heaven. Please forgive our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from evil. For that is kingdom, power, and the glory forever. Amen. By the way, remember, they also try to starve white, semi-roasted Europeans. And some of the biggest break-in attempts have also come from, well, figured out. The biggest thugs have occurred on videotape, even when I'm eating. So it's showing you that Washington State is a terrorist state. There's nobody left. There's nobody. So I'm going to have some peanut butter. So remember, there's not even a real business. It's all sham business. Oh, and there's a whore chanting, and it could be Christine Carr on crack. We just got Myanmar. So, you know, she's calling victims and probably things Myanmar. So what you would do is then round up Christine Carr. She's hallucinatory, talking about Myanmar. Another one of the retardos around here is an ugly black man's son. The ugly black man is an ugly bald man that has made kidnapping threats. He's also made murder, torture, rape, and there's a bum talking about marriage. And there's an ugly bum that's coming with his dog, and he just saw me in the window, and he put his fist up in the air. You're going to see the dog man. Looks white, no good. And he's a fat cannibal, and I think he lives in the townhouses, and there are several townhouses that are very much involved in the crime here. And here's one of them. Yes, I'm cursing these bums. There's a bum chanting about Jesus, even though he's a blasphemer. I'm eating peanut butter. Oh, and there's a bum playing Absolutely God. Remember, these are devil worshippers. I'm smearing peanut butter in my face. And remember the threats that have occurred already. Slavery, rape, torture, and murder. Scarring my face more, which is already scarred, FGM. And remember the names of the people. And remember, oh, and Kathy Cox is making a plot about meat. She's calling it Myanmars and vehicles. And then they're playing prostitute. They're playing hide a prostitute agency. Remember, one of the biggest games that's played with the dirty cops constantly. They will refer to, and I have to cover up food. It smells like blood. I'm on the banana right now. It stinks in here. And where's the stench from? 207. And the ugly thing, Christine Carr's right in there with the smell of blood. So you can imagine what else goes on at the agencies, such as Elizabeth Gregory. So your dirty cops are here, and guess what they're doing? At least one's here, and he's here drinking blood and moving people, and that's Officer Bobby, Seattle West Precinct. Putting away my food, I just got a waft of blood again. There went breakfast. At least I got to have some, some orange juice. I had a couple swallows. And you might think, well, you're living a bizarre way, and you said it's ready, but you're talking about this casual. Well, in 14 years, in what has even been called by death camp names, because they are anti-Semitic bastards here, you will learn that hysteria will be over. And you will learn after 14 years not to sympathize with any of the zombies. There is no reason to sympathize with zombies. You will also learn that the only ones worth anything are the animals. The only ones worth a damn in Washington, that's a bad expression, worth anything are the animals. I think I'm going to cut my nails. Why? Well, when I dig in spilled coffee bags that have spilled coffee and water, well, that's just more, and yeah, that's my bag falling to the ground, as usual. We don't talk about that. Another prison, and the kids are super heavy. What am I doing first? And it smells like blood near the window. It might also be drifting. There's a horror playing blah, blah, blah on occasion. So what I want you to do if you experience anything like I'm experiencing, well, you're not Santa. And if you cave into a gang member, remember who you're allying yourself with. An alliance with somebody who is a cannibal zombie Satanist. And do not correct my English. No one is talking to a gross, retarded zombie in the wall. Especially, I'm choking. And remember, it's a 30 IQ moron, basically. That's yapping and yammering. It's just one big evil hit. With Satanism, what seemed to come about is also retardation. So if I live like I'm homeless, remember also my gross family has cast me into this position. Remember, a retardo was playing family earlier, and that was Eric Kinzel's retarded family or someone standing near him. And remember that the retardo was also yapping about my grandfather or grandmother. They've been dead for over 20 years. Over 20 years. So remember, there is no family, and also my real family is involved in a falsification of records. What else would they be doing with this falsified family crap? That's how they drag people off. And I've seen people try to perform this act, including people that were people that, oh, it looks like my video started over. It was at 9 hours. So this is 505 Northeast 70th Street, Seattle, Washington, 98115. And it's Green Lake Plaza Apartments. And everybody is a cannibal zombie. And they did a genocide on white Semites and warm-skinned Europeans. So I'm just reintroducing. And I had trouble with my phone, including restarting it, and it remembered some of the apps I had, so it kept going to split screen, which I wasn't even aware that this one could go to split screen very well, but apparently it does. Sorry, blowing my nose. There's a whore yapping about an interview. Now let me explain what happens here, since you don't know what's going on. This is a crime-ridden building, and bums hide in the dark green areas of the building, and they climb up. So there is a crawl space hotspot. There is also the bedroom closet. It's a closet where they hide out behind. And then there's also along I-5 and the bathroom. And actually in this room, people have heard it on Periscope and they called the police. And then somebody on YouTube might have called the police as well. And 207, and it's not unusual to get dirty cops actually in the building that are also cannibal zombies that hide out. They sacrifice people. They're fully involved in a gang crime. It's a predictable crime. You can predict, or actually you can go back in history and you can figure out what happened to a victim based on dates of a month, including near holidays. And these are Satanists, so you could find out what holiday that the Satanists wanted to celebrate and defile. So it might even be a Christian holiday. Could be a Sunday. They like to defile the Lord's Day. And they have a particular interest in Sunday. It could be Christmas, which actually it turns out that's not even a Christian holiday if you look at it. Why? Because it's too closely aligned with a Roman god that was into sacrificing children. And that is what the Satanists do. Saturn, I believe. There's a bum talking about his Saturnalia. You know, I'm by the window. It's near I-5, but I can hear it to a certain extent. Also, I believe there is illegal surveillance, which they did on whites, white-looking Semites, and warm-skinned Europeans. There was nowhere to go. I'm choking. Probably there was a smell of blood earlier, and I'm allergic to it. And I also have asthma, allergies, chemical sensitivities, chronic fatigue, and fibromyalgia. So there have been slavery, rape, torture, murder, FGM, mutilation threats, and also facial mutilation, kidnapping, rape, and including, to call it, prostitution. The dirty cops in Washington State, including Officer Bobby, they even will have people broken into at night. They inject them, and they'll portray it as the victim's boyfriend. She's a slut, or she's a whore. She's charged, when it's not even true. And that's a way they kidnap people. Also, to try to portray the victim as a drug user like they are, including Officer Bobby. And so she's just going off with her heroin dealer. And so you can actually go back in history and clean up some crimes by the dates of the month. These bums get frantic when their money is spent or the victim's money is spent. And in my state, by the way, it's the whole state that did a cover-up of a genocide. And you've got, now I'm not white, but you've got a lot of people that went against white Semites and warm-skinned Europeans. I just look white. I'm turning the camera around in the event when you can see glass scarring. Glass is very popular to throw at victims. There's nothing in this room. It's gross. It's boot stuffed, and there's a reason for it. And I've donated a lot of my stuff. There's nowhere to go that's safe. And I've even had video footage of what looked like somebody painting in their blood, or someone's blood rather, downstairs, probably someone else's. And I also had pictures which I sent off. It was on Google, I think. I don't know if I sent those to. Did I send those to the police? I think so. But you have to understand, everybody's a cannibal zombie here, even the police. There is nobody here. So I'm going to get ready. And there are also ambush plots, and there are whores and bums that carry around chains and guns. And I've named some of the terrorists that are here. That's actually a big popular way that bums here carry people off. They'll portray themselves as police. And it might even be a prostitute who's a friend of a policeman. And I'm choking. I'm all choked up now because of the smell of blood. I'm allergic to it. And I no longer eat meat because of all the cannibals around. And they torture animals too. And it's not legal meat anyway a lot of times in Washington. It's a poor cat or dog that they torture. So, there's nothing trustworthy in Washington, especially the meat, alleged meat. I don't call that meat, but it's a torture meat. It is what it is. It's a torture meat. It is, and it stinks in here like blood. I'm going to have to turn on the exhaust thing. And someone's bragging about hurting dogs and cats, as usual. And it stinks of blood. And there's a bum playing our welfare. These weirdos have and they're beyond weirdos, obviously. They have a belief system that, and it's like, it's a falsely created system wherein people feel like they have to do sacrifice in order to have something. And people have been forced to believe that that's true, and then they actually are so mentally ill that they believe something came true because they heard something. And it's a falsely created system, and yes, they've gotten rewards from it. There's also a smell of a tortured dog in the kitchen. Now, I try to maintain self-control, but if I didn't maintain self-control, it's not going to help me vomiting everywhere. So, I'm just strung together with some self-control. I'm not actually immune to suffering of animals. And I'm spraying a deodorizer. Oh, and one of the bums is chanting beautiful ladies. And what's the beautiful ladies thing he's chanting? He thinks they're going to be beautiful by killing people and drinking their blood. The retarded black Nazis and those who went with them like to portray that you're going to be beautiful or happy if you do bad things. So I'm not without feelings. I just started to almost vomit. And there's a bum yapping about police officers. So remember, Officer Bobby has been here torturing animals and drinking their blood and people. And I've sprayed toilet deodorizer, which isn't good for the lungs, but it stinks. And I'm going to get more toilet deodorizer. You see? So I can get that vomiting feeling down. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done as it is in heaven. Please forgive our trespasses. Oh, there's a foreplay. Before long we will be drinking. And remember, I will use deadly force on anyone trying to get me to do cannibalism or blood fetish. Someone tries to capture me and say, you're going to drink this, oh boy, there's going to be trouble. I will defend myself. And I have a legal right to defend myself against the crime of cannibalism. So I'm going to sit here and curse zombies as well. And so I was going to go in there and change my clothes. And, well, I don't have clean clothes because I have to go to pick up clean clothes that will have glass on them. They're not clean. They will have been touched by people that went into the storage. The glass scars on my hands, I've shown it before. It's not even a good camera. Glass grooves, constant touching of things in the storage, including clothing filled with glass, and there's nothing you can really do, and it's going to scar you. That's how I've lived for over the last 2 years. And the stench, oh, and there's a bum still yapping about his grandpa. And these dogs, these people that are, I call them dogs, they will try to get you to take care of their friends, even in the building, these ugly mongoloids. And it's an ugly black moron, and the thing's calling it his grandpa. It's not even his grandpa. The moron thing is trying to get a slave for some ugly turd bag in the building. And it's an ugly turd bag that went from a cane to a walker, I think. It's an ugly black male. And there will be quite a lot of trouble for the building. And remember, nobody in this building can live on their own because they're trying to get slaves. So you need to round them up by the fact they can't live on their own. They're all too retarded, too mentally diminished to live on their own. And remember, I was chased out of the smell, out of there by the smell. I am resetting this phone. It is now going to reset. Factory reset. Why? Well, you can't trust anybody in Washington. They want your phones. Why? They've got your Google accounts. I'm threatened for my email in this building. Threatened at Roosevelt Self-Storage. I'm threatened at Elizabeth Gregory home all the time. In fact, Christine Carr thought she'd have ugly black Nazi women, and remember, I'm part black, removing my cell phone. Factory reset doesn't work anyway. So what's this going to be? It'll be a phone, if it charges, where I use it as an extra camera, or just a device on Wi-Fi. If not, if I can't charge it, it can get donated now, or thrown in a barrel where they recycle. Or just, it's not as bad to have it in my storage now even. And I could even take the SIM card out. I can take everything out. That's another good one. You take out the SIM card. And by the way, me doing this to my own phones, that's actually what they do with victims' phones. They'll use them on Wi-Fi. And they don't worry about it here. And no, Usually they don't catch people. One woman who was a hacker, she was caught. And I saw her get caught. I think it was over an iPhone. But let me tell you, the person they caught her for must have been a gang member in with the cops, or they wouldn't have helped her. Just different gangs, that's all it was. Or somebody they didn't like, different gang. That's how it works here, total corruption. And it doesn't work. It's not going to work all the time. It's not going to work. It's done. This one is not charged enough, which is exactly why it's not even going to be used. I'm going to charge it enough to do factory resets. And remember, I also endangered myself. I had 40 years of paperwork plus in the storage. 40 years. 40 years. So let's see if I can even charge this. I'll charge it till I'm gone, which it won't bring it up enough. And then it'll be deleted to factory. This is now to factory. I went to Metro PCS yesterday, and I bought the 2 cheap phones that you're viewing. And this is a way older phone. Like several, let's see, which one? Oh no, this is the older one. 2 years, year, wear and tear. Oh, Michael Tudhope is in 207. He is a kidnapper. He's not allowed near me. He is my brother, half-brother, and we've been estranged for 18 years because he and Dawn Blackmer, my half-sister, tried to cheat me out of the sale of my deceased mother's house. Oh, by the way, I zoomed in on some glass scars. Different glass makes different scar, different sizes, different shapes. And I've talked about that before. I've even talked about it in post. So I want to get out of here. In spite of the smells, I just have to make sure the smell of the tortured dog did not make me throw up. Oh, and this ugly, retarded monster, he is one of the slavers here, and he just made a licking lips sign, and he also made a hand sign, and look at that ugly fucker. No one would go off with that bitch. Look at him. He's a child molester, a murderer, a torturer, a rapist, like the rest, and I hope you saw him because I just turned the camera around. I don't know what you saw. But, I mean, he looks like a big fat monster, which is what he is. And he may even be with a dog that is a duplicate dog. That's how they pull off some of these dog murders and other animal murders. They just get the same type of dog over and over. So the dachshund over and over, the Chihuahua over and over, and some of these whores are so calculating, they look like they're kissing and hugging their animal. And it might not even be the same animal every time. I see that a lot. I said horse because they do that out of the prairie home. So I'm going to just get some stuff together and brush my teeth and wash up a bit. And whenever you person gang members, and remember I was throwing up because there's a smell of a tortured dog, and remember that Officer Bobby is a terrorist and he was here. And his ugly, retarded son is here as well. Oh, there's a whore standing in the crawl space playing, we're going to have you sharp, you're obviously a burglar. And remember, these retards will try just about anything. And remember why I have to get out too. I've got to pay my rent. So I've got to remember to keep that up downstairs. Downstairs is dangerous. The retards will try to waylay you, including that fat ass gray-haired thing that makes his hair blonde. Dyes his hair blonde. And remember, these are all ugly, grotesque people that nobody wants. Nobody wants them, nobody likes them. They're all shit-ass morons. They're ugly, they're freaks. There is nobody. There is nobody. These are shit-ass morons. Keep repeating. They are ugly. And you'd have to be a shit-ass moron to go and see. I'm going to brush my teeth, actually. Remember, these are shit-ass morons. Keep repeating. And YouTube might not want me to swear, but yeah, they kind of get rattled when there's animals and we can't save. It's like, yeah, what am I supposed to do? Chop through a wall? I don't have a tank. I don't have, a motorcycle. So, I'm not armed with these things. They'll even come through your wall with a chainsaw. That's why you need to stop with bitches. They're going to come through your wall with a chainsaw. In this game, they won't shop. So I kind of go back and forth. It's not that I'm a psychopath, but I can't spend time on being emotional. Do you understand? This is happening, but I have to go. This is happening. I'm being threatened with being shot, but I have to go. There's a bum chanting that I'm going to do laundry. I'm going to do laundry for him. And a lot of these black Nazis and other maggots had silent victims. There's a warplane renewed. Am I going to listen? No. I'm just going to face the SWAT team. And so will Officer Bobby. Officer Bobby will be arrested and committed. I'm not going to listen. And no black person is now to be trusted or anything. Remember, I'm part black. Any kind of relationship with a black person is now up for question. Was it coercion or was it forced? Was it, which, that would be coercion, blackmail. Were a lot of women just afraid to get scratched up, beaten up, they didn't know what an ugly black man did? Or worse, there's a warplane. You're going to explain curlers to me tonight. On you. It's a threat, and they like to use the word curlers. It's rape. She means you're going to be raped. And it's a horrid 207. Christine Carr is with her. Kathy Cox is there threatening as well. And they're like yapping morons, and they're playing optimal. So there's a whore. Kathy Cox is threatening me to leave with Christine Carr of Elizabeth Gregory home. How's that for privacy, ugly bitch? And then she's just made a hawk-on threat, which she might be calling something hawk-on. Hawk-on is an ugly indigent from Roosevelt. You're not going to tell me what to do. You're a pair of fucking hands. You're ugly dogs. No one's going to listen to you dogs. You're retarded dogs. Nobody's going to listen to a pair of ugly old women. You are ugly old gross things. You're not going to tell me what to do. Remember, they have no authority. Kathy Cox is a heroin addict from a methadone clinic. And she happened to be my neighbor. I was at her building. She had a restraining order and took her residence. So she's not even allowed to stop. The restraining order expired, but it's hard to prove someone's stalking you if they're hiding into your setup. But she has invited suspicion because obviously if someone wouldn't do their job, it would be on record that the hooker is not about to be there. It's an ugly dog. Sorry, I have to throw down. There's a bomb making a clinic threat, and remember, there's kidney threats. So there's a kidnapping and a clinic threat from 207. How's that for quiet? Am I going to go with you to a clinic? You're going to need it. Eric's brother, Greg, is here. He is a crit. And there is a whore playing blah, 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 play warrant. And remember, these dog butts will also portray that there's a warrant. Remember, they're psychotic. There was a whore at Fred Meyer playing warrant yesterday evening. Was there a warrant? Why would a checker whore in line act like she's a policeman? Because she's psychotic. That's what the morons in Washington have done. They're all psychotic freaks. That's all they are. And there's Christine Parks playing later on Sign To or Assignment. She's a stinky hoe on crack. And by the way, you can find that crackhead and the other crackhead whores on the website of Elizabeth Gregg. She's playing with you in the room. And she's actually threatened with extortion right out of Elizabeth Gregory home and also illegal captivity. She's also threatened me just now with the storeroom. And you might say, what's so significant about the storeroom if there's just junk? Well, because then they'd have the space rented under your name. They're money hogs and possession hogs, but they also would be doing crimes under your name. And whenever they can get away with something, like having a crime done in your rental, the zombies are very much into that system. So having your name on everything so you get in trouble, they would do that. And there's a bomb playing Walker, and you're not going to listen to the morons. They're playing, you're going to assist people in a walker. So the bomb is making a threat regarding retardos in the building or that come here. And one of them is a whore named Julia. And she is a whore. She was telling about how she's done, and I've heard this story before, she actually was a dominatrix. And she usually has her hair in multiple colors. She looks like a total crackhead. And she's looking pretty weazened up without her teeth, and she was recently kicked out of Aurora DS, or not Aurora, one of the DSC buildings. She's waiting for the Morrison. She goes to Elizabeth Gregory. She's an old hag that looks like a goth old hag, but she's also usually got pink hair, blue hair, whatever hair. I think it's like pinkish now. But she looks hideous. And then she lines her eyes heavily, She's looks like she's 70, trying to look 16. So these bums always think they're going to have you help their cannibal zombie friends. Am I going to? No. And so she comes here, and under normal circumstances, if she'd been even dressing weird, well, I probably wouldn't have had her here now because of the Satanism. She is a Satanist. Well, I wouldn't have had her here with the Satanism. I mean, people don't just have skeleton fetishes for, I mean, they have a reason they have a skeleton fetish. She is a Satanist. So the skeleton fetish would have prevented her from being here, but also just, she would have been prevented from being here. Why? Well, she would have been prevented. She's a cannibal zombie, and there's nobody to trust in Washington. So, but let's say she didn't have a skeleton fetish and she just dyed her hair weird colors, and she was just somebody who dyed her hair weird colors, but she wasn't into being a dominatrix. She might have been invited here. Why? She's kind of crippled up, but you have to realize, don't feel sorry for zombies. She's also a drug addict. She's gotten kicked out of everywhere for being a drug addict. And so, don't feel sorry for drug addicts. And she would just being a drug addict, she wouldn't be invited here. She'd bring trouble down on me. So there's no reason to even feel sorry for an ugly old druggy woman. Even though she has seizures and falls down, that's not my problem. And I've learned my lesson about zombies anyway. It's like, don't pretend things are normal, because they're going to start threatening you. And one reason they want in your home is to control you for the gangs. So Michael Wood came here with his mother, claiming to be desperate, and I had stayed with him before. And they started in right away with the ketamine threats, and they probably actually had me out for a while he raped me. He's an ugly male. He looks like a crypt keeper. He's hideously ugly. Oh, and it smells like tortured dog as I'm talking, by the way. So that Julia person pretending to be a nice, warm person, though she's a drug addict, she's an animal torturer. She's right in there with them, eating dogs, torturing dogs. Same with Michael Wood, torturing dogs. And there's a horror playing. Lisa, you're going to blah, blah, blah. Am I going to listen to any of these people? No. I'll go down with the ship, and there will be probably a SWAT team one day. And there's a horror playing my ship, and she's a psychotic moron that I'm not going to listen to. And the thing is, with these raving lunatics, because they were treated like cops, they're gonna, you could put them on a mental health gurney, and they're gonna be shouting that they're a diplomat and that they're FBI. And that retard Officer Bobby and the other retards of the Seattle Police Department that like their own guerrilla armies of morons, including horror morons, drug addict morons. Well, they thought it was such a great idea to have their own guerrilla armies, so these people are out of hand. They've been uncontrolled for years. So Julia thought I didn't hear her sneaking around. I actually saw her the other day, and I recoiled in horror because she looked so bad. She looked like such a gross, blood-drinking moron and drug addict. Now the siren went by, but one of the biggest ruses in Washington is when sirens go by, when a truck goes by with a siren or an ambulance, People will portray that they're here to help you, or they'll start kidnapping outside, portraying that they are legally there to help you. I've even seen meth heads, and one was in a wheelchair. He got up all of a sudden. Why? There was a siren. So they were all ready to go with the heroin needles too, or whatever they were going to do. Knock me out and force me into a wheelchair. It's common ruse. Siren went by. Police are nearby. With the police, like the police, some of them were chanting SBI. Why? Well, now, I guess they didn't want to be caught saying FBI. So nobody's going to help Julia. Nobody wants her. Nobody likes her. She's a repulsive drug addict. I personally don't give a fuck if she dies in the street. It's a zombie. There's a whore playing finger. She's making a finger threat. And an answer for her finger threat is a trailer threat. If Julia's gross, nobody would take off Julia. And what did Julia probably put in her storage when she was kicked out? Probably stolen stuff. And stolen from dead victims, tortured victims. And remember, these bums will also pretend they're medical along with dirty medical. She's probably in there carving up the poor dog, tying it up somehow, doing something terrible to it, eating it raw. She looks like a fucking, excuse me, they're like some of them are getting, it looks like an insect face. Without her teeth, she looks like an insect face. So you don't just look like you don't have teeth, you look like you are an insect face. And she's a blood drinker, you can bet. And she's tortured people. These bums will even play gallon. It's a big black Nazi thing to deal in gallons of blood even with the bus driver. I heard an Asian Nazi telling a black bus driver that she had a gallon for it. Right on the bus. When you hear gallons here, it's not innocent. So remember, Julia needs to be locked up, put in a nursing home. She's easy to find. She's at Elizabeth Gregory Home. Well, she needs to be put in an institution with the rest of them. And what you're going to have to do is lock up the state, locking up these people, too. You have to lock up all these people. Yeah, they're not even people anymore. There's a bum playing call you. Nobody wants their call, nobody likes them. Sorry, class. There's a bum telling someone to hit me on the way back or way out. The thing is, I'm a temper and I do straight. And I know my rights. There's a whore playing industry follows you by car. So there's a whore in 207 admitting to stalking. Anybody following me is a stalker. There is no one welcome to follow me. Now, I didn't blame Julia for being at Fred Meyer yesterday. She's crippled and she might have gone to Fred Meyer innocently. No, I don't think so. Now it makes you wonder when she could walk better if she was up at the food stamp insurance place. Another time. And she gets heroin from doing crimes also. So Julia is one of those bums. She gets, she'll torture people and animals, and she's getting drugs. And remember, it's a false economic system, so The morons will even play expensive about her drug use. And once again, nobody wants Julia. She's ugly, she's gross. I don't even want the thing near me in public, really. And this is coming from a gay scratch woman. Julia supposedly was a school teacher. She became a dominatrix. She said she was 2 blocks from the White House. And you know, she was thinking about applying that trade in. And by the way, they'll try to pass off torture as S&M. Somebody was talking about it this morning. Rough sex, S&M. And remember, there are beating threats, so Julia herself is very suspicious. There have been whipping threats. So Julia is tied to whipping crimes, beating crimes, assault crimes, portraying it as S&M. There's a thud underneath. Remember, it's a public bathroom. There's a thud underneath! And there's a whore claiming you're to submit to them. No, I'm not whore. And Carla, formerly Logston, is here. Probably Jay Logston. They are hillbilly cousins. And they're playing whipping. So Julia is a suspect in crimes of whipping. Julia is a suspect in animal torture as well. Why? She's into S&M. She's a dominatrix. She gets off on giving pain. And Julia is easy to find with her walker, and plus she goes on drugs. She has seizures. She goes into what I believe is a fugue state. She has a seizure disorder that they didn't really diagnose, probably because she's a drug addict. Now, what I was going to say is earlier, some of these alleged MS cases and other odd diseases, guess what those I believe are linking to? Remember, I'm not an expert. What would those be? Julia is here from Elizabeth Gregory home. She's a nasty old thing. Nasty. Looks like a bug. Bug mouth. And she's talking about retarding me. That's one of the big things with whores that are in with black Nazis and other shit stains. They will make you retarded so you can't talk. They will even do illegal lobotomies, like Dr. Jaffe and his moron friends. And he teaches the retards where to poke people into the brain to destroy certain areas. There was a bus driver who comes here. I haven't seen him for a while. He was on a 67. And he was boasting about some of my headaches actually being pins poked into my head, or needles. He might be here. I haven't seen him on the 67 route. He's dark, tan in the summer, and he might have considered himself good looking. He was tall, lanky, kind of brown hair, brown curly, wavy hair. He has a very friendly manner. And a lot of the bus drivers are crack whores and other bums. And remember, even if you say, oh, you're psychotic, they wouldn't come here. This is a criminal network. Zombies have thrived on even pre-zombie for years. So, criminal gang network. So, by the way, Ugly Julia is in a walker. Ugly Julia is making threats about a guard. And nobody would be seen with Julia. She's gross. Nobody would have her in the apartment. Oh, and she's threatening me for my crops. Julia, you don't want to threaten me. I'm not the right one to threaten, Julia. I'm not afraid of even an ugly old hag and walk that touches me. You're an ugly old fucked up hag. Now fuck off. You are a retarded, ugly bitch. Shut the fuck up. Shit asshole. She's nattering on, playing Madam. Remember, these fucked up morons will also try to get you into the slave trade, calling you a madam, calling you by the name of what they do. It's not truly a madam. She's a slave. Remember, she's ugly. She's in with gross, ugly black Nazi men. She's eating people. Now, remember, she's in with people that targeted white Semites and Mexican Europeans and white looking. She's another one who's allegedly Jewish. She's very much in with people who have bragged of torturing Jews. So, one of the whores here that they thought they'd have me as a slave for, it's an ugly old hooker named Julia. She dresses like she's a 16-year-old whore. I think her hair's pinkish right now. Long nails. Medium complexion. Old lady. Lots of makeup. Ugly hooker. Retard. Again, she's not anybody you want her to. Interestingly, she was allegedly married to a male in England, and these people have targeted England. Why? Well, you think of white people, in England. So they targeted white English people. There's a bum play to be opening your knees. Remember, these shit stains can't get their minds out of their genital area. You'll be able to soon, though. Believe me, you will be able to soon. So, Dog Woman thought that she would go unnoticed. Oh, another shit stain that's here? It's an ugly, retarded male from Aurora, DSC. 207. Ugly, retarded male, Aurora, DSC. I have to move something away from the heater. I don't think I can go back there because the heater, we can move these back. It's not a safe apartment. The heater exploded a couple weeks ago. Several weeks ago. Everybody knew it, obviously. So, Julia is entirely traceable. Plus, Washington, D.C. is where she was a dominatrix. But not more than that, which is more than other stuff. There's a bum playing will receive marks. These things are into scarring. Yes, you will receive a mark when you come near me. There's a whore, by the way, at the big slaver compilation agencies yesterday. Wallingford Food Bank area, rather. And the whore stated, you will receive a crescent sign. And that was a whore that came down from the solid ground. And I think she was pudgy, white with other, dark hair, not attractive, on their way to lunch or something. By the way, you can smell blood in that building quite a lot. And so, that whore made a threat of, quote, receiving the crescent sign. And she works at Solid Ground and the library. They're not innocent. And there is somebody going with chains possibly in the hall, and they're going to be messed up because I'm going to mess you up. I will use the chains on the person, if you call it person. They're not people. There's nothing left of them. And if you want to know something, there's nothing left of drug addicts anymore. So even without the cannibal zombie aspect, there is nothing left of these people. They are grotesque lunatics. There is nothing left. There is nothing left of drug addicts. And imagine that these things with their tweaked DNA, mongoloid DNA already, bred with people. Can you even imagine? Can you imagine their progeny? Well, a lot of these retards, that's what you're looking at. Progeny of retardos. And you're hearing like morons, like Dr. Jaffe, he has a retarded son. Officer Bobby has a retarded son. They're all retarded people that bred. Remember, they killed smart, pretty, nice, normal people. They killed anyone of talent, and they killed them as slaves. There's a whore chanting playing Walker. It's an ugly, fat, black Nazi maggot. He goes to Recovery Cafe. He made torture threats with an ugly bomb crip that shaved off his ratty beard. He's an ugly bitch. Booker is here, and they're making a kidnapping threat about fat-ass Booker. It's an ugly, big, fat, black male. Retardo! Retardo! Do you think anybody would go near an ugly thing with a mouth like a toilet lid on purpose? Or want it? What's your answer to that one? It's a retardo that nobody wants or likes. That's your answer. It's an ugly, fucked up old bitch. And he and the ugly crip were talking about putting me up on hooks. Hooker is the one that made the threat regarding my color and torturing. He's a fat ass. He goes to Recovery Cafe every day to pork out. He fills his food plate and he makes a ring of ranch dressing. He has had complaints even by zombie women at Recovery Cafe. There is nobody who wants Booker. And ugly Booker thinks he could grab people because he is retarded and because of his size. He is an ugly fucking retardo. There's a bomb claim you'll submit to him, my bill. Nope, bitch, you're gonna have a SWAT team up your ass, bitch. And Booker is going to die in a federal prison. What a nice place for Booker to retire. Booker needs your help retiring in a federal prison with the rest of these ugly bastard boogeymen and women. You're too ugly, nobody wants you. And Booker nobody's gonna listen to an ugly old bitch. Including an ugly old bitch man. You're a bitch man. Nobody's gonna listen to a dirty, ugly bitch like you. You're an ugly, repulsive retarded. And you're gonna be shown how ugly, retarded, and repulsive you are. Believe it. You will be shown that you are a retard. You will be shown that you are a retardo that nobody ever wanted, nobody ever liked. And I'm here to personally tell off the black Nazi, evidently. Why? Because I'm part black and kiss my ass, ugly motherfuckers. You're not going to intimidate people into going away with you. Oh, and there's a whore playing. There's going to be a riot, and she's cocking a gun in 207. So there's a whore playing with a gun in 207, and they made a threat about Booker. They're trying to get the ugly bitch a slave. At the very least, Booker. Don't turn your back on me if you're gonna enslave me, bitch. Don't ever turn your back, bitch. I'm telling you, bitch. And you are an ugly fucking bitch, and nobody's gonna listen to an ugly bitch like you. And remember, Officer Bobby of the West Precinct might still be lurking. Officer Bobby is still here. So Officer Bobby needs a SWAT team to pick him up wherever he is. And I'm at 505 Northeast 70th Street, Seattle, Washington, 98115. There's a dirty cop here named Officer Bobby, Seattle West Precinct. And there's an ugly indigent named Booker, big, fat, tall, creep, about 300-pound moron. It's Black Nazi. And the retards were making slavery threats on his behalf. That is not unusual at Green Lake Plaza Apartments. Officer Bobby's is not even of the West Precinct, or excuse me, not even of the North Precinct. He is not even here legally. And what happens in Washington is what? People will commit crime with policemen, and they've gotten away with it for so long that they think they can pass it off as legal, including slavery for an ugly, fat, old, creepy black man that no one wants, no one likes. That thing will prove nobody wants him just by opening his ugly, fat mouth. Ugly bitch. You come near me, ugly bitch? And remember, Booker and the other bums have called white Semites and warm-skinned Europeans their Social Security. So remember, and I'm going to repeat this because one broadcast was paused. Booker and the other morons of Washington, especially black Nazis and those who went with them, have called whites, Semites, and warm-skinned Europeans their Social Security. And what's that about? Well, they've taken people's Social Security. And they've also taken people as slaves. And as I'm telling you this, I'm telling you loudly, and there are bums that are actually whining. And I'll tell you, zombies are pretty whiny. And they're playing, you're not going to leave, and you'll be in submission. Nope. So I'm going to keep 2 broadcasts on, even though they're not near the window right now. And remember, Booker is an ugly freak that nobody would want. Not even a gang-scarred woman wants an ugly, fat pig like Booker. So it questions the validity of any relationship with a black Nazi. How many women were dragged off? Lots in Washington, apparently, on behalf of ugly old dogs like Booker. Ugly old dogs. Freaks. And if you look at these bums in Washington, what you've got left anyway, you've got ugly freaks who decided who would live or die. It's a guarantee that they're all ugly. These are ugly fucking freaks. So question any black Nazis with anybody. Is it really a relationship? Or did the ugly thing carry people off? Was the ugly retard carrying people off for years? I'm not coming with a dog ban. You're going to end up shot by a SWAT team. Dog man needs a SWAT team. And remember, you can find that ugly retard very easily. You can find him at the Recovery Cafe stuffing his guts full of food. He is a big fat pig man. Repulsive potty monster. That's all the thing is a potty monster. All they do is cause trouble and take up carbon footprint. That's Washington. Gone. And remember, they were also making slavery threats on behalf of Julia, and that ugly Julia thought they'd have shit-ass morons that are drug addicts being taken care of, too. So you need to round up these potty monsters and put them away. So Booker, the retards, tried to get a slave, so Retardo Man can't live alone, so by all means, Retardo Man needs to be rounded up. He is a retard. There's a whore playing Opening Your Knees to him. And let me tell you, there's not going to be that without, like, let's say the thing was raping me. There's going to be a lot of trouble and I'll get the fucking building shut down. And I'm going to get Booker noticed by every gang. He is a blood, in case you're wondering what gang he is. And he goes to Recovery Cafe. You've got other gangs at Recovery Cafe. Oh, and there's a bum playing Wednesday opening. So remember, this is my apartment, and they're making threats. And so remember, help me get the building shut down, and they can't live on their own. They're too retarded. And let's get everything shut down in Washington and have all the homeless people rounded up and all the indigents, the whole state rounded up. Just round up everybody. And a whore is yapping, we are blah, blah, blah. Well, was I addressing a stinky hooker that's pretending she's police? No. Nobody was addressing a stinky, ugly hooker. She's a stinky, gross retarded. She is a stinky bitch. And she's in with black Nazis or a black Nazi. So, when I address a black Nazi and tell the stinky bitch, oh, and by the way, Metro Sign Company went by and it has very dark tinted windows. A van. And a black car just went by. A whore's playing ruler. There is no ruler. And you're going to find out when the building's shut down and when you're really fucked up. And remember, if you're interested in gangs, 207 usually has a lot of Crips in there too. So 207's usually full of Crips. Now Booker is about 6'3". He's ugly. There's a bum in there yapping. They came to me. Nobody would go to any of these fuckers. They're ugly retardos. There is nobody anybody would seek out. They're retarded bitches and bastards. There is nobody you want or like. Doesn't mean that there's plenty. You'd never want anyone here. They're all what? No. You don't want them because they're gross. They're sick shit asses. There is nobody. They're sick fucking freaks. Booker looks like a walking turd monster, turd nation. And don't worry, there's as many as, sometimes 14. I've heard 16 gangs in here. And as I leave, guess what it smells like? Blood. So Booker and Julia are here, and it smells like blood. And Christine Carr, the crack whore that works for Elizabeth Gregory home. Nobody's going to listen to any of you. There's a bum playing A-Team. And remember, these black Nazis and the other shitbags absolutely believe they're cops. They're in with dirty cops. The dirty cops supply the weapons. You come hear me, Julia? I'm going to have you arrested and committed. In fact, I'm going to work on getting you fuckers committed. Can't take care of yourself, ugly bitch. You're getting committed. You're going to get committed, ugly bitch. One thing, blah, 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 for Kathy. And remember, there's always an ambush threat. You want these ugly fuckers crippled up. All of them. You want Julia not even be able to walk. She's just a drug addict, cannibal anyway. A zombie, a torturer. She's nobody. She's hideous. And remember where you can find Booker up at Recovery Cafe. You can find some of the whores at Elizabeth Gregory home up there too. Remember, these things are always eating. And they're not just eating cannibalism. They're eating everything. They're potty monsters. Some of them have had hundreds or more of victims' food stamps. Hundreds of people's food stamps, including my big fat sister who apparently knifed somebody in the 70s for their food stamps. $10 worth. Big fat ass Dawn. Big fat bitch. And she always looked like a frog cow. Does that explain the decimations? Guess what she did when she was killing? Guess what she was instinctively doing? She was eliminating Melissa Odd's competition, who turns out, that's my niece, half niece, nothing there really. She's a special ed bitch. So they killed off Alyssa's competition. I noticed that the college people looked like deficients. There was a reason. They were. It's like, oh yeah, it's University of Washington. I'm like, those are sorority girls? They're just slutty and retarded. Lissa was special ed. It was covered up. Melissa I. Nobody's listening to shit-ass moron. Die. Go die. I'm cursing them. And ha-ha! Booker can't walk well. Why didn't you fucking come after me, bitch? Now, he's motioned with a gun motion at Wallingford Food Bank area. And he'll knock you over with his big fat belly trying to get to more food. Now, why won't I go to the Recovery Cafe? Well, I'm not a drunk, but I can still go. I'm not an alcoholic or a drug addict. But they bragged of cannibalism in the food. No, thank you. So the less people who touch my food, the better. And who was bragging? It was a male that was the bearded male in the kitchen, dark hair, blue eyes. What was that? That was my people. So, now, who did he brag to? Boy, who was he trying to impress that day? Ugly, fat, black coffee bitch who got up and did a nice little speech about the Recovery Cafe, their little counseling, whatever, and let's have a prayer, 5 minutes of prayer, prayerful silence, and enjoy your meal, everyone. There's a whore playing camping. There is no camping. You think I'd want to be seen with any of you fuckers or go out the door or in a door with you? You're too ugly. Shut up. One of the whore's names is, let's see, what is her name? Couldn't pronounce it. Oh gosh, this dead guy, I can't pronounce. He died recently. What did he call her? Well, anyway, she's a short drunk, and remember, it's a whore that's a drunk. Liver falling out, hanging by a string. Officer Bobby loves that shit. And he and the other bad cops give him guns all the time. Can't remember. Oh gosh, it ends with a Y or something. You know, I'm kind of busy to remember names of zombies. Short. She's been kicked out of everywhere because she's a drunk. She's lost her whole life. She's lost her kids. She just got out of rehab. She sells real change. Brown hair. I always tell her she doesn't look like a drunk. She doesn't usually. Except she skinned herself quite badly lately. But her lips always look like she's bloated up her lips somehow. And her skin is usually a ruddy skin tone. She's friends with Daniel. She stayed here before. She's in 207. And the whore just made a threat of Holloway. Now, whore, I advise you never to threaten me. And I think she was muttering threats the other day at Elizabeth Gregory home. I advise you to stay away from me. I advise you to never come up to me, because even if you have a gun, I'm going to take it from you, and I'm going to, well, take it from you. And by the way, you don't want to do what I do. Why not? Well, I'm crazy. And it's been 14 years, and, you know, if people don't like my method, well, first of all, don't even do it. Why? Because I'm crazy. And I'm not going to put up with bullshit. Taking my stick out. So I'm going to put this down so I can tie my... So this is me. I'm leaving. What I was going to say is, when you hear... There's